Oh, I love post-apocalyptic movies.
Well, she got us close enough. We gotta walk the rest of the way. Probably about a 5-hour hike. We can manage that.
But I hate how Hollywood ignores the most obvious solution when civilization falls apart. Just take the bike. The bicycle. I would hate the future too, because every time the car is not longer an option, everybody turns into a hiker.
I hate it up here.
Well, that makes two of us. Why is there so much hiking and backpacking in the end of the world as we know it? I would hate to be one of these characters hiking across the country.
And Sarah and I used to hike like this all the time. Wouldn't say it was her favorite thing. She wasn't a fan of the mosquitoes and such.
Walking past and stepping over bikes like they're some sort of steaming pile of shit? Is it because hiking is slow and most people have gone on hikes that have been way too long and that makes it relatable? Maybe. In this video I want to show you why bikes have such a terrible reputation. Plus, I will give you my movie pitch with plotline and dreamcast to make bikes not just a vital part of the post-apocalyptic world, but also cool. Alright, let's get into it. Bicycles are often typecast and are associated with certain character types, like struggling artist, eco-warrior, underdog, nerd, or loser. Making fun of anyone riding a bike is the norm, and even physical harm to a cyclist is apparently funny.
Free has got to go. He's a big boy. He'll be able to take care of himself.
I'm okay!
Hollywood sends a message that only people that cannot afford a car will ride a bike. It's for geeks and weirdos.
Hello?
Will you quit dicking around with your little huffy bike and listen to me?
Anyone in a car and on a motorcycle is superior, and you're less of a person on a bicycle.
Oh, you know what? I'm not the only person in the world who rides a bike.
Yeah, everyone rides a bike. When they're fucking 6.
And I'm sure that money and the product placement for the auto industry has a little bit to do with it. There's an entire movie genre dedicated to the fight to drive your car at any cost. Somehow hating on bike riders is super relatable because bad bicycle infrastructure and the occasional douchebags riding the bikes in the middle of the road, blocking the entire lane. It's something we've all experienced. I'm not a fan of those riders. My guess is there's an equal amount of douchebags in cars and on bikes. But you get my point. This is not helping make bikes cool at all. So what's the solution? How do you make bikes cool? You definitely don't want to make a bicycle movie or tell people to ride bikes because of climate change or pollution. That's a loser before it even begins. So I'm writing the script for a movie that plays in a post-apocalyptic world where bikes are not the main character, but are vital tools for succeeding in that world. It's of course an end-of-the-world sci-fi movie, so you guys are the first to hear about it now. It's July 2024, in case this movie gets made in a couple years and some other guy, genius person claims that he came up with that. You know he's full of shit. Alright, let me set this scene and also use my dreamcast for this film. Okay, imagine a busy suburban neighborhood with lots of traffic. A big pickup truck with balls on the hitch drives down the main drag. Behind the wheel is the main character, played by Bill Burr, one of my favorite comedians, because nobody does road rage better than him.
Get over! You see me behind you? I'm in a fucking car. Get the fuck over!
Love that guy. He's stuck behind a group of cyclists taking up the entire road, fully decked out in lycra with colorful helmets. The truck driver is yelling and cursing them out, when all of a sudden the sky darkens and a massive spaceship appears above. From the spaceship, millions of drones are released, and they are immediately start shooting and blowing up every moving vehicle. An indicator light on the front turns from green to red every time a drone fires. They seem to spare pedestrians and people on bikes. Factories and buildings are being blown up left and right. The truck guy tries to get away, gunning it down a side street, but a drone has locked onto him and is in pursuit. He gets cornered at a dead end, and just when you think he'll be blown up by the drone, his truck starts sputtering and runs out of gas, shutting off the engine. The drone doesn't fire on the vehicle, but it seems to go into standby mode. The truck driver thinks there's a connection between the engines running and the drones firing. While running back to his house, He sees drones following electric vehicles but not firing. His neighbor, who he can't stand, pulls into his driveway with his Tesla across the street. A drone is right behind him, but doesn't fire. The neighbor runs out of the vehicle and plugs his car in and immediately gets blown into a million pieces. Turns out the electricity charging his car wasn't all that green after all. I think it would be cool to have some POV drone shots, like from the point of view of the drone, Terminator-like, with telemetry showing the objects that it's scanning and the CO2 pollution levels before it gets blown up. Okay, so that's the beginning. And now a life where mechanically produced CO2 pollution is punished by annihilation is the norm. All Dick's sporting goods stores are being raided because bikes are the hot commodity since most people don't have horses. Horses are considered the most valuable and are seized by the government immediately. Now it's important that no one should wear a helmet or lycra, regular clothes, and mountain bikes are the ultimate gear of choice. Guns cannot be fired because they produce CO2, so knives, bows, and arrows rule the world. A year goes by and the truck driver hears on the radio from a prepper that invented a device for your vehicle to disguise mechanical pollution for organic. But to get his hands on this, he has to travel across the country, starting out hiking of course, because he still hates bikes. He meets many interesting and dangerous characters on the way. A little while further down the road, he runs into a bunch of outlaws that want to rob him, and the only way he can escape them is by jumping on this abandoned mountain bike in the middle of the woods and bombing down a hill. From that point on, he travels by bike, because it saved his life. He runs into all kinds of people in the middle of the country that have invented a new way of life and rediscovered old methods to live a normal life without being destroyed by the drones. His journey turns into the ultimate nature adventure, sleeping in the woods, riding with deers across meadows, seeing bear, moose, and elk for the first time. It's a mutual Omaha event for him. He loves the sounds of the birds and the clean air. All of it is so amazing to him. Eventually he gets to the prepper that created the device. Turns out the prepper tried to use a coal-fired steam engine, which triggered the drone's execution mode, and he got blown up. But who cares? He tests the device on a lawnmower, and it works. So he starts his journey back home. He finds this souped-up muscle car in the middle of the field, installs the device, and starts the engine. All the animals scatter away. The engine is super loud, a plume of black smoke exhaust blows out behind the car. He sits in the idling car for a long time thinking about the year that had gone by and how it changed him, leading him to turn off the car, removing the device, and destroying it. He gets back on his bike and rides into the sunset. Or something like this. This is a work in progress, guys. This is the end of what I'm basically telling right now. Obviously, there's a lot of details and I have a lot of fun with this. If this is a movie that you would like to see, well, I don't have any money, then you might never see this. But you can share, like, send this video around. Maybe we can find somebody who has money and we'll make a movie where bikes have a really, really big supporting role. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Alright, see you next time.